or anybody for that matter. Then we find all these meetings that take place in the White House with his, with Hunter's partners here in America. Then we have all the phone calls that Devin Archer talked about with Hunter and his foreign business partners. Then you have the meetings with, like, the Russian oligarch and others at Cafe Milano, a Russian oligarch. What did Hunter do? Why the suspicious activity reports 170? Why the shell corporations? How did 9 Biden family members get paid? What did Hunter do when he admits he had no experience and admits he was an addict at the time? What did the grandchildren that Comer says got paid, what did they do for their money? Any of this make sense to you?
Oh, sure, it makes sense. That's what you do if you're the president's son and your last name is Biden. No other president's son has done this.
Well, maybe he can
thing.
adopt me. I'll be pretty rich.
Sean, you're better than a Biden. You don't want that.
It was a joke. Yeah.
But listen, here's the problem that I have with all of this. Hunter Biden said that his father, I'm sorry, it wasn't Hunter who said it. The people making the accusations against Hunter Biden are who? There's not Jim Jordan. It's not Republicans. It's Hunter's business partners. It's the people who he worked with, who know the facts, who are on the inside. These aren't partisan Republicans. They're eyewitnesses. And what did they say? They testified under oath that Joe Biden 20 times got on the phone to help his son with business deals. That in and of itself is an act of corruption by the then Vice President of the United States. I cannot imagine any of the congressmen, senators, or the president I ever worked for getting on the phone to influence business deals for their children because they're sitting members of Congress. They know it's unethical, it's wrong, but Joe Biden did it anyway. And he did it because he thought he'd be protected. He thought the press wouldn't come after him. And finally, they are, because the facts in this case are so bad for Hunter. But there's still those other charges that we hope to see if that other shoe drops now beyond the gun charge that does get close to the White House because it involves his father's behavior.
It's a great
That's
point.
where it appears
and
Merrick Garland
and Nancy Mace and James Comer both said to me this week, they think the Bidens alone, they're going to get north of $50 million when it's all said. Just the Bidens that they can track now, maybe more. Thank you both. Yeah. When we come back, Joe Biden embarrassed himself in front of world leaders yet again today. What a shock. We've got the tape. We'll get reaction. Vivek Ramaswamy in studio next as we continue.
America needs a 180-degree change from the direction where Joe Biden is taking us right now.
Conservative.
See, what a great crowd today. And for more meetings with world leaders, boy, I wonder what impression they walked away with. And, of course, more fundraisers, but things did not go particularly well for Joey, your president. Take a look.
To say to President Biden, can you hear me, President Biden? This is a historical moment for Brazil and for the U.S. President Biden, can you hear me? You can? Yes, good.
I know I'm not supposed to speak again, but my dad used to have an expression when I was growing up. My father had an expression. My father did not have a college degree, but he was a well-read man, and he worked very hard his whole life. You say, Joe, a job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about self-respect.
Does that include Hunter's job? I'm just asking. And despite Biden's constant struggles and his bumbling and very low poll numbers, his team is now telling worried Democrats to relax because apparently they believe that by focusing on Donald Trump and abortion, they're going to be able to win easily next year. Excuse me. Anyway, joining us now live in studio, 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy.
Good to see you, Sean.
Man, how are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
I've noticed as time has gotten on, you've come under more fire. What do you think that is?
Well, look, I think that it's politics. You have, at the start of this race, I was at 0.0% in the polls. Nobody cared about me in the race. Now we're in the polls, and you're going to run for U.S. president. If you can't handle the heat, you stay out of the kitchen. So I can handle the heat. And my view, Sean, is we talk to all media, left-wing media, right-wing media, no-wing media. If I'm not willing to sit across the table,
jackasses of fake news, CNN or MSDNC, don't you feel like you're wasting your time? By the way, not many people are watching fake.
there are times when I feel that way, but I'm not running to lead a political party, Sean.
But
I'm
going to do an
running
interview,
to lead
at least
a nation.
You want to be watched.
Well, you know what? I think that my view is we have to talk to the people who disagree with us because every time we do it, we show up and we win. You'll remember with Don Lemon, that last interview that he did with me was one of his last ones before he got kicked off the air. Agrees on the ideals that you just listed. The American dream, the idea that you get ahead in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character. I think 80% of people in this country agree on that. And half the 20 are people younger than me who never learned those ideals in the first place. We're going to bring them along, too. And if we do, Sean, I think we can win the 2024 election in a landslide with a multi-ethnic working class coalition, leave no state left behind, no city left behind. I think that's the opportunity with this failing president, from the economy to the porous border. This is our opportunity. If we have the courage to actually stand up for our own vision, that's how we win.
Deep and profound. The Republican Party has to be the party of working men and women.
Yes.
I believe that. It also has to be the party that brings minorities on board.
Yes.
That have been lied to and, frankly, disappointed regularly by the Democratic Party. They have been failed. The schools are failing.
No doubt about it. I'll tell you an inspiring
they're not keeping them
story.
safe and secure.
Sean, so I've gone to places like the south side of Chicago or Kensington in the inner city of Philadelphia.
Amazing you didn't get shot
In this campaign. Well, I mean, I've been to third world countries growing up.
Pathetic.
You go to the third world, you want to where you go to Kensington and Philadelphia today. But here's what I saw on the south side of Chicago. 90% black room, supposedly mostly Democrat. That is a room that fully agreed with me on militarizing the southern border, on ending that border crisis that is impacting their community every bit as much as Republican communities across this country. And so America First includes all Americans. That's what I say.
I agree. Americans should not be suffering under Biden's economy. his idiotic energy plans. We shouldn't have open borders. You know, we need law and order. These
right.
are the basics. There's all preventable problems that he caused. Why do you think he chose that path?
Well, look, I want to say something about Biden and why I don't talk about him that much on the campaign trail. I don't even think he's really the one running the country, Sean. I think he is a puppet for the managerial class in the administrative state. And you mark my words, when I'm the nominee, they're not going to let him run against me. It's going to be the next puppet that they trot out. So we have to recognize that this is a broken system. We have to stand up to that managerial class, shut down those three-letter agencies. It's not Biden that's alone the problem. It's the three-letter agencies and the deep state. We have to get in there and shut it down.
But the upper echelon tend to control everything.
The managerial class. And so, yes, there's 25% of people in those agencies who are doing important work. But I think that we have to downsize the government significantly. 75% headcount reduction. That's what I'm bringing to Washington, D.C.
There we go. Vivek Ramaswamy. When we come back, John Fetterman forces special new accommodation from the Senate so he can, feel right at home on the Senate floor. And hoodie and shorts, well, Fetterman's colleague, South Carolina Senator, 2024 presidential candidate Tim Scott is next. Straight ahead.
My husband, Joe, became a New York City firefighter in August 1999. Joe wanted to be a firefighter since he was a little kid. It was his dream. He was there when the North Tower collapsed. I found out later that day when his father called me to tell me that, Joe was okay. It's still mind-blowing at this point when I think about it. There's so many people trying to get out and they're running in.
Joe and I were firemen together for about 11 years in Ladder 148 in Brooklyn. Our families hung out together. Joe was a great guy, great family man, great fireman.
Joe passed away December 26, 2021. He had been working at the firehouse for Christmas. They had found him unconscious. And then it later came out that he had a heart attack at the firehouse. At Joe's wake, Assistant Chief Gala had told me that Tunnel to Towers would be taking care of us. We found out that for July 4th that they'd be paying off our mortgage completely.
So there's things that, everyday life you need to think about. Tunnel to Towers tries to alleviate that stress. They paid off Joe's mortgage with the house with Irene and his kids. That's a huge burden that's lifted off of her shoulders so she can work on the healing that she needs to do with her and the kids. So right now we're in the Firehouse Avenger 163, Ladder 83, where Joe was to be assigned. I was honored enough to be called and asked if I wanted to fill the shoes that Joe had, laid here.
I got choked up because I was so happy that it was Brendan.
It was a tough decision.
This.
Maddox Complete Protection Bundles, you get up to 4 layers of device protection and up to 29% off the retail price. It's all backed by our 100% US-based customer support. Save up to 29% off retail the first year and every year. Stay protected, stay anonymous with PC Maddox Complete Protection. PC Maddox is built by Americans to protect America. Try PC Maddox risk-free for 30 days. Go to PCMaddox.com.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
All right, anyway, so we have this issue with the UAW, and it's getting pretty interesting. And one Republican nominee for president is decided to take it on, and that would be Senator Tim Scott from the great state of South Carolina. Let's give a warm Hannity audience welcome to Senator Scott. Wow. Nice guy. How are you? Great to see you.
You too. Thank you.
Doing okay?
Sean Hannity. All right.
Oh, we love having you. Great
Thank
to
you.
see you again.
You as well. Absolutely.
We had a great time in South Carolina with you.
Thank you for coming down. We always love to see you in South Carolina.
I love South Carolina better than here. Republican nominee for president is decided to take it on, and that would be Senator Tim Scott from the great state of South Carolina. Let's give a warm Hannity audience welcome to Senator Scott. How are you? Great to see you.
You too. Thank
Doing okay?
Sean Hannity. All right.
Oh, we love having you. Great
Thank
to see you again.
You as well. Absolutely.
We had a great time in South Carolina with you.
Thank you for coming down. We always love to see you in South Carolina.
I love South Carolina better than here.
You bring We all love South Carolina better than New York. Absolutely. Good to be home.
I don't think I often disagree with you. We've been friends a long time.
That's true.
And I heard your comments about Reagan and the UAW, and you strike, you get fired.
Yes.
Here's where I might differ from you a little bit, and tell me where I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Day work week, 32 hours. Take that proposal. No way.
Yes.
I don't know anybody that doesn't work 16 hours, 14 hours a day. But here's the thing. They are totally losing their jobs because of Joe Biden and this push towards electric vehicles.
Absolutely.
$4.5 billion profit loss on the EV line of Ford this year.
Yep.
That they are killing these workers. That should be because the unions are forcing the Democrats, they're using.
They own them.
They own them.
They own them. And when that happens, the taxpayers, there's no such thing as a federal dollar. They're your dollars. They're all your dollars. Putting $86 billion of your money into shoring up union pensions because they keep over-promising and under-delivering, it's just wrong. We need a president who says we are not going to subsidize unions, period. You make the deal, you live by the deal. If it goes belly up, it's not on the back of the taxpayers.
How do you like this idea? I mean, usually CEOs, and there's been a lot of talk about disparity CEO pay.
Your dollars. Putting $86 billion of your money into because they keep over-promising and under-delivering,